I need to know right away, did he sing? Because if not, that's unfair. Did he sing? I have to report him.
So you're going to sing, right?
I'm not.
You have to make it up.
No. Oh, no. Yes, question, Raul?
So how do you feel about your character's science?
Oh yes, yeah. That's a very good.
Any one of actors.
Well, first of all, I want to see the spinoff. That sounded delightful.
Let's get that started.
And if you do it, are you going to live tweet them? Because your live tweets are fantastic.
Thank you. I never used to do live tweets until Brian started doing it, and I understood now what that was. It's about connecting with fans, and that's also what Comic-Con's about in general. But that's I think riding his coattails is the easiest way. I get to come along and make a joke of it. He's such screaming, such actual great information, script pages, blah blah blah. It's just it's a great way to interact with fans. But that's spin-off's happening. Because Scott's running already.
Nice, that's great. It's good. That's
what?
The spin-off.
The spin-off.
Jimmy P and the Z.
That's why I checked out for a bit. In my head. Did you see me check out?
Yeah.
He does that when I talk, because it's just like, I got a very dulcet, raspy tone.
Yeah, dulcet, raspy. Oh, that dulcet, raspy tone again. Hypnotic, dulcet, raspy tone.
Oh, can we talk about this show for a second?
Sure. What? Yeah. What's that show? Oh, right.
How did Beverly's death affect your characters and will affect your characters going forward? Because usually lab rats aren't in a lot of danger.
No, they're not. It definitely made my character drink more off camera.
Your character.
I decided after Beverly's death that I would be hungover for every episode. It was my method. I'm a method actor.
Very method. When it comes to drinking, he's very method.
I think that the death of Beverly is probably the death that's affected these two characters more than any death, obviously, ever has. But I think there's probably some tragedy in their background.
Yeah, and I think it's the thing that propelled us. I mean, that's when it became very personal.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the FBI started working outside the box a little bit, and they started doing it was kind of a secret operation that got everyone a little bit in trouble, and Cynthia Nixon had come in and storm the gates, and I think that'll happen even further in season 3 now that Hannibal has laid waste to Jack and Will, and that it becomes even more personal for us to catch him and punish him. I know that when we got Chilton,
very personal.
we really hated the shit out of him because we thought he had done Hetty, and now that when we get our hands on Hannibal, it's going to be he's still going to be terrifying, so we probably won't say very much to him, but inside we'll be personally very excited.
But when we tell people what we say, we'll say, so I told him, and then what did you really say? I went, I'm sorry.
I love the detail that your characters get very early on, particularly in Oof, which unfortunately then they didn't air. But having Jimmy, the alcoholic, I'm not recovering. Was that's great.
Like my favorite line in the whole for episode. I mean, the whole series for us too is that line.
That line, yeah.
I love that.
Well, and then one of the things I found most interesting, I've been rewatching season 1 for my podcast, and Z seems to have really progressed, because he starts out as a somewhat antagonistic force. He's the leak for Freddy, and he's like combating Will a few times early in season 1, and whereas he seems more, everybody's kind of come together more in season 2.
I think that arc absolutely starts off so threatened by Will, because I probably fancy myself the smartest guy, no offense, but smartest guy of the crew until Will came along, and to the point where I was detrimental to the cases, where I was leaking information and anything to sabotage the case, and then it grew to just hitting Will because I thought he was not right. I didn't think he was trustworthy. It became very much about the group and the cases and catching killers, and I thought that he was bad for FBI, and then it became that I had to suck it up and apologize to him in this last season, which I thought was a great way to play it. I mean, I still could have hated him. I still could have blamed him for Beverly's death. Brian had that option to keep playing that hate for forever. But to have it grow into something, and then maybe it continues to grow into an actual friendship, drinking buddies. Again, sorry. But if Will asks for a drink, I might go with him. I'm just saying.
I'll drink you both on the table.
I understand.
Well, you guys, you were saying on my podcast you wanted to see more of you guys in season 2 because the cast is so oppressive at times. Are there tools that you guys use to make sure that you're in those scenes and bring character even to the smallest moments?
You mean like, what do you mean? You mean blackmailing them so that they write things for us?
Right, you know that works.
So you mean like, do we do things to make the scenes more indelible that aren't actually in the writing? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, what character, like, tools do you have?
Yes, we did discuss things. And actually, we mostly figure out what we're doing in the van ride day.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to not carve out moments, but to make what we're doing specific in a way where we're not that we're fully formed characters. And we're not just Rosencrantz and Guildenstern commenting on the side, or just an information machine. That we have moments of humanity, or whether that's a joke or an argument or nudging or whatever it is, that we are fully formed as everybody else in the show. And I think the writing and everybody involved in the show also does a great job in making us not a cog in some sort of procedural machine, because the show's not a procedural, right? So.
And we decided very early on certain things that I would be a little prissy, and
did we decide that, or were you just?
I just am.
Yeah.
And a bit of a know-it-all.
And I was going to be a bit of a jerk because we just decided, as a character,
I decided that he was, abrasive, and what else did we decide?
I was going to talk very raspy.
That Lawrence would be very intimidating. We just decided that. And then
we decided that the day he yelled at us on camera, and then like pee came out a little bit. And then we decided, you know what, our character's going to be intimidating by him.
That's a good idea. But yeah, we do. We work out little things like, we're going to disagree over this sort of thing, and it makes them come alive.
I can keep it. I don't want to.
So your scenes look the most improvised in the whole show. It's like you're having a blast.
Yeah.
Like it's like an oasis in the whole show.
Oasis.
I like that. Very good.
Table floor.
From the non-native English speaker people, okay. Thank you, very good.
So
showed y'all up.
Thank you, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, woof. I prefer your English. Let's keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So is it true you have room for improvisation and stuff?
I mean, again, I think we find places to really elaborate the minutiae of stuff, but the scripts.
There's like a few. There have been lines where we go.
Absolutely.
Let's
If they don't yell
we
right away, then absolutely we're yelling stuff. Fist bump was not in the script. I don't think we're arguing about stool samples. Just was a director was slow to cut, to be honest. So we kept arguing, or we kept celebrating, or doing everything. Yeah, that worked out. I can't believe
that's one of my favorite moments. They left that in.
Yeah,
and me laughing at you.
There's a lot of respect for the writing on the show that it's really not necessary. I mean, the show is very tight, and the show doesn't want us to be doesn't want us to be these procedural characters.
Yeah, we're not
these stock characters
like that. Because that's a real cliche. That's become a real cultural trope. Can I say trope?
Yes,
I could have said stereotype, but I had to make up for saying
trope.
Very good before. So I used trope.
I liked it.
But so we're not wacky, but we're amusing. But I think all people that are in that kind of a job have to use humor, whether they're like an emergency room surgeon or a nursery school teacher.
Right.
I don't know.
That's good. But I appreciate the comment that it feels improvised. But, generally, we just get to be a little looser than everyone else because we're not going like we're not closing our eyes and sweating over hallucinations in a corner. We get to actually be a little bit looser, so it feels that way. It's really a testament to the show and the writing that and less to us.
Because if we really improvised, we'd ruin the show.
Unusable. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing what we're saying right now? That would be a lot of that. And everybody would change.
I have the power to ruin the show.
One more.
Oh, sure.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the various things that you guys have to work with, the various bodies and things and setups that you
Well, we
to
took
deal with?
classes. We took a couple of days of classes on how to actually take fingerprints and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're gross dead bodies. It took a while to adjust. It's especially weird when it's not a dummy.
Yeah.
You forget, and all of a sudden the actor
God.
who's naked on your slab like breathes for a second. You're like, oh, right, you're not a fake thing. You're a real person.
And you're absentmindedly rubbing her breast.
That was Scott.
No, you did that once.
No, I didn't want to.
There was, and you were like, I went.
I am offended at the accusation. I would never.
Okay, it was me. It was the Crackler
This
episode.
is adjourned. Table 4.
Remember that
This went very wrong.
And I realized that.
Let's go back to Oasis and just cut there and then pretend like that was the end.
But I
don't remember any. I think I would remember.
But the guy who played the the kid that's sewn into the people in the silo. I remember, you might have told me to stop, and I was like picking at the crackler, and we weren't shooting, and I was just kept picking at it, and I realized, I think you may have said something, or he opened his eyes and was like, I'm nude, and you're touching me, and I realized that wasn't, but he was a lovely guy, and that's their fault for hiring him.
Sure. He's too nice. That's his problem. And you were also a little bit drunk then.
I was a little drunk, and I was a little drunk, and I was attracted to him. And who knew that Crackler was my trigger?
Thank you. Thanks, Tim Moore. Thank you very much. Thank you.